Good evening, Facebook Live. Apostle Terrence Lyons of Ecclesia Ministries here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, coming to you again on tonight, bringing you tonight's Bible study. We pray that everything is going well with everyone. Excuse my voice sound here. I'm just getting back on track of dealing with some stuff trying to take me out, which you will understand why when we get into tonight's message and get prepared. Pray that everybody's had a good week. Everything's been going well. Good evening there, sis. Good evening there, Prophetess Tanisha. Good evening there, Overseer Melissa. Tonight is definitely going to be something different. I did not fully get this of what he wanted me to cover tonight until around about 4:30. Good evening there, Pastor April. In getting that, and it's not out of the ordinary for me to get messages at the last minute for Bible study or for things that I have to preach. That's not out of the ordinary to me. Good evening there. I don't want to butcher your name. Akane Owari. If I butchered it, I apologize. I just wanted to speak to you and tell you hello. I'll have to get Prophetess Tanisha to set me straight with that. But again, it's not that it's out of the ordinary for me to get messages at the last minute. There are things that God speaks to me on while I'm in the pulpit, while I'm mid-message. That happens all the time. What does not happen all the time, and thankfully I have witness of sisters and brothers online, and Overseer Melissa and my sister can vouch for what I'm about to say. I have never preached a message where I told anybody to get ready and actually it be named and it be the question of, are you ready for the next 5 months? Now, I'll give out dates. I'll give out specific days and dates. But I normally do not just flat out ask about, are you ready for the next 5 months? I don't. I can let you know that there's different things that do transpire over blocks of time. But as far as a message of this magnitude of getting you prepared for a specific block of time because of what's coming, I have not done this in this fashion that I'm going to do tonight, because our question tonight was, again, are you ready for the next 5 months? Excuse me. This time frame is normally a time frame of dormancy. This time frame is where the nights are longer. This time frame is where there's things of preparation that do happen. But I've never had it to where I just had to come out and give you some points and things that you're going to have to be aware of over the next 5 months, to be mindful of, and these are all things that I'm going to be explaining to you and telling you about from the standpoint of you knowing how to prepare yourself on the inside. That's really what this is more about than anything. because one of the things that I've learned with following God, you can try to build up what you think you need money wise, and build up what you think you need food wise, and build up what you think you need and all of these different scenarios of clothes and, stockpiling stuff. What I found from a biblical standpoint, what I found from a personal standpoint, because when he was letting me know that I was to come out of the corporate world in 2016, I had in my head, I got to build this money up. I got to do this. I got to do these things. And that was not, no, that ain't how he was working this. But one thing is for sure, never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. Everything's been taken care of. Everything's going to keep being taken care of. The key is you got to know how to keep your eyes and mind stayed on him. He'll keep you in perfect peace if you'll do that. So as I'm going to say in this specific message starting out tonight, I want y'all to understand, he who has ears to hear, let him hear. Let her hear. If y'all don't want to hear it, that's going to be on you. Because I know what I got shown today. I know what he's laid forth today. I know there's a post that I put out today that's going to be probably quite controversial. Y'all know I'm built for that. Y'all know I go where I got to go, because whatever he tells me to do, I got to do. So things that we're going to cover tonight are going to kind of go in that same direction. Not per se the content, but to understand how you need to have yourself ready over the next 5 months. So I want to start out, my first thing, you're probably wondering, where am I getting 5 months? Why would I even bring that up? If you know the time frame between the last feast day that God gives us to celebrate, which is the Feast of Tabernacles, and then getting into the first feast day of the next year that he's given us to follow, then it would be the Passover. If you would think and count from the end of Tishri, that's where you get into your 7th month. That's when the Feast of Tabernacles is. Once that ends, then you count from Tishri, you go to Heshvan, you go to Kislev, you go to Tabat, you go to Shavat, and then you go to Adar. Then that gets you back to your 5-month time frame. But I want to show you something a little different tonight from the book of Genesis. So we're going to start out in the book of Genesis. Excuse me. Book of Genesis. I want to go to verse 24. I want you to see that. And then we're going to dig into some stuff to start getting you ready. So Genesis chapter 7, verse 24 is what I want you to look at. Genesis chapter 7, verse 24 says this. Genesis chapter 7, verse 24, it says, "And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days." The waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. The average month is going to be 30 days. The average month on the Hebrew calendar is 29 to 30 days. And ours on the Gregorian calendar is 30 to 31 days, except for February, which is 28. But and what I want you to get out of this is that if you'll divide 150 days by 5, then that's going to be 30 days. If you divide 150 by 30, then that's going to be 5. So that'll be 5 months. What I want you to understand and really see about this is where we're getting the 5-month period that I'm talking about. So I'm just covering that because during this time, just from last week, I want you to be honest. Just from last week, from when the time changed and now that the nights have gotten longer, how many of you have had some struggle mentally or with your sleep? You've kind of felt like that you were on this kind of a battle, not that you were going crazy, but you felt some different things mentally just from having longer days. Longer nights and the days being shorter. So just from that, waking up and thinking, dang, it's just this time. What? It ain't later than this. So you've had a little bit of throw off there. There's been some things that have been thrown off a little bit. Well, it's normal, okay? That's the first thing I want you to understand, because I've always told y'all, and for those that are new on here, I've always told you that emotions go with seasons. And the example that I give is just like allergies. So I want you to understand, it's not you. It's not you this time. Now I'm gonna show you. We're gonna have to deal with how to get past it, but it's not you. So that's, I wanted you to see that the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. Now, the reason that this is so important. The reason that this is so important is because you understanding how to have the discipline that's needed for who you're designed to be during an extended amount of time is why it's so important. Y'all stick with me. I'm going to get through it. But what I need you to get, excuse me, is that you knowing how to have the discipline that you need for what you're designed to actually manage yourself through during certain blocks of time is what this is about. This is about getting you ready for these next 5 months. So the next point that I want you to look at, since we're in Genesis 7, I want you to go back to verses 17 through 23. Excuse me, Genesis chapter 7, verses 17 through 23 says this. It says, and the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bare up the ark, and it was lift above the earth. And the waters prevailed and were increased greatly upon the earth, and the ark went upon the face of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. Watch this. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of fowl and of cattle and of beasts and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man, all in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land, died. And every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle, and the creeping things, and the fowl of the heaven, and they were destroyed from the earth, and Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. So here's my second point. My first point was to show you where we're getting 5 months from. Second point that I want you to get out of this is being ready for the next 5 months requires for you to know how to handle instability. Being ready for the next 5 months requires for you to know how to handle instability. I want to show you a couple of statements here. In verse 18, the beginning of that one says, and the waters prevailed. Beginning of verse 19, it says, and the waters prevailed. In verse 24, it says, and the waters prevailed. So there, what I want you to see is that instability prevailed. The waters prevailed. So every time you see water, I want you to understand that is representation of instability. Thankfully, our Savior walks on water. I'm trying to do right. I'm not going there, but just understand. Every time you see water, there's a level of instability that's there. That's why he calls himself, and he says, out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water. Sometimes the things that you speak over yourself, when you begin to see them manifest, they begin to cause instability. That's knowing how to manage yourself in instability, even after you speak it. See, because some of y'all have done agreed to some stuff that's got you in a place right now that you shaky. No, I ain't been following you around. Definitely ain't been following you around this week. I've been having to deal with myself. But you've been having to deal with some things that you said that's got you in a place of instability. I just need for you to understand that's part of the process right now. Instability, longer, darker nights, all of that stuff. It has got you in a place of instability. You're having to relearn yourself. Woo! You having to relearn yourself. And in the process of you having to relearn yourself, some of you are having to refocus on your vision. Let me help you understand. The reason you're having to refocus on your vision is not because of the environment. You say, what? See, because you're thinking that, a lot of y'all are thinking that a lot of the things that you're having to deal with is because of the folks in the environment and these folks and these haters are pushing against me and these ain't doing their job and these right here doing it ain't got nothing to do with them. Just throw that out. It has nothing to do with them. This is about, all of this has been about getting you ready for the next 5 months. And the thing that I want you to understand about your next 5 months and know about why you're having to take a closer look at your vision is because you're a different version for your vision. You are a different version for your vision. See, when you first set out to pursue the vision that you are now pursuing, who you were at the beginning, you're no longer that person. You've had to adjust and adapt because you've moved from where you were to where you are. So now, since you're having to move from where you were to where you are, you've developed some even in between that small period of time. So since you've developed in that small period of time, you now see the vision different. You don't see it like you did when you started because now you're in a different spot. And by you being in a different spot and you having to develop into who you needed to develop into to see what you're needing to see right now, you're a different version. Y'all type that in. I'm a different version. I'm a different version from who I was when I first started out with this vision. Seeing who I am now, I'm not even the same. I'm not even the same from where I looked at things from last year. I'm not the same oh my gosh. I'm definitely not the same of who I was in 2005. I'm a different version now. And the fact that I'm a different version now, this is why. What I'm saying, if you heard a message from me 3-4 weeks ago, I ain't even him no more. Because each week I have to become who he's building me to be in the moment that I'm in. So definitely for the folks that, I heard him preach before. I ain't him. Yeah, I'm probably still wearing shorts. I probably had on shorts then, but I ain't the same him. So that's why each week it's about development. Because again, it is going on literally probably about 12 to 13 years that I have never preached the same message. I might have talked about the same topics, but I ain't preached the same message about them. And in order to do that, that requires for me every time that I speak, I have to lay before him. I have to put myself surrendered before him to, hey, what you want me to say, what you want me to do, how you want me to handle this, how you want me to approach this. I have to do that each time, each week, for Bible study, for Sabbath message, for when I have to preach at another church. I have to do that every single time. So it's not something that I've just done a couple of times and then I just kind of go on with business. No, that ain't how this works for me. So the reason that I want you to understand that you've got to know how to handle instability is because, watch this, environment works on your behalf to help you to develop the gift that you're responsible for. Environment works on your behalf to develop the gift that you're responsible for. See, because you're responsible for your gift. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You're responsible for your gift. Y'all type that in. You are responsible for your gift. See, everything that he's given you to function with and the environments that you have to encounter while you're still managing that gift is to help develop the different version of you as you move on forward into the vision that you keep getting deeper into. Ooh. 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 See, the fact that you're responsible for your gift, I'm responsible for my gift. See, in the fact that I am responsible for my gift helps me to realize that each new person, just like the new person that we've got on here tonight, I don't ever know who's going to show up. So I can't rely on that the old version of me was good enough to help this new person that's now in place. I can't rely on that. What I can rely on is that the gift that I have and how I manage it in each new moment with each new person that I encounter helps me to develop into a better version of me that is ever changing forward. See, that's what I want y'all to get. You are ever changing forward. Type that in for me. I am ever changing forward. See, that's why this is so important. Because getting you ready for the next 5 months, if your mentality is, I am ever changing forward, nothing's ever going to bother you. Nothing's ever going to be able to stop you, because even when the obstacles come up, even when the different environments show up, every single thing is always playing a part in you ever changing forward. So when the Apostle Paul's telling us to do things like forgetting those things which are behind, those are not just slogans, okay? Those are reality. And then those mindsets are the things that help you when I got to help you prepare for moments like a 5-month period, a 5-month time frame, getting you ready for a 3-year period, getting you ready for a 7-year period. I'm ever changing forward. And if you keep that, oh my gosh, I feel this. If you will keep that, then nothing that you encounter will ever have the ability, watch this, to hold you hostage or cause you to be caught in your past. Some folks are so caught up in their past that they can't change forward because they're constantly trying to be either what they were before